Good afternoon, everybody. Hope we're doing okay so far there, keeping it together with our self-patience intact, right? Me being the record of the important thing that we need to be doing. But anyway, you'll see that I posted a clip there of this week's episode for depression, and it was a very vulnerable moment for me for sure there, and vulnerable for me to put it out on all three platforms. That's the way I respond when I think about even that people are suffering and suffering en masse, I'll say. That's what you get though when you have a one size fits all approach, right? And in terms of me being vulnerable, well, I do teach that, and I know it was important to do that because vulnerability is what gets us back to good mentally. And what I mean by that is that vulnerability actually translates into who we are and being who we are at our baseline, at our core. So when we think about being afraid to be vulnerable, we have to really as well say we are afraid to be ourselves, which is not great, right? But not our fault. Actually, it is a factor from this outside world that tells us to be a certain way, look a certain way, own certain things, and have a certain status, and all of those nonsense things. That's why we're afraid to be vulnerable, because we're supposed to be doing a certain thing and be in a certain box. So, that being said, well, that's not a good enough reason, right, not to do it. And nothing out here should control you and what you're going to do with your life anyway. So you can decide to be yourself, and you can decide to walk past fear and say, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it for me. Because even though it is very difficult, it was so difficult for me to release that, although it is in a podcast in a pocket over on Patreon. But to release that particular clip, which I didn't expect was going to happen when I spoke about those things, but that was huge for me. And I feel much better for doing it. I feel much better for letting everybody know who I am, what I stand for, and that I am on a mission to help anybody else to see that in themselves.